Welcome to Sunday Morning Matters Extra here on yourcentralvalley.com. As promised, we're going to really tackle the Democratic debate. I want to take roll call with our panel for the week. News Director for GV Wire, Bill McEwen. Longtime Valley farmer and Professor Paul Betancourt is here. And Senior Advisor for Emerge America, former California gubernatorial candidate and former National Political Director for Hillary Clinton, Amanda Renteria. Amanda, I want to start with you. You watched Tim O'Brien, the senior advisor, campaign advisor to Mike Bloomberg, kind of putting a Band-Aid over things because that was a hard-hitting debate. Did Mike Bloomberg hurt himself so bad that maybe he can't get back into this, even though he's spending more money than we can count?
Well, first of all, as I saw the conversation happen, I think Tim did a better job at addressing the issues than Mike did in the evening. I happened to be in the debate hall. Listen, I think everybody was watching that debate, and so it is going to take some time for Bloomberg to really dig out of that.
Speaking of ratings, it was the most watched Democratic debate in history, and
it was fireworks for everybody as well. I mean, the beginning, from the very beginning, people really made it a point to say, okay, it's taking you a while to get on this debate stage. I hope you're ready. I think the surprise to a lot of supporters, especially because he's been going around the country doing town halls, I think there was a surprise that he wasn't quite as ready for that moment. And people are going to have a lot of questions about it, and you're going to see that as he moves throughout the country.
I know we still have a long ways to go, but Paul, did you see a candidate on that stage in Las Vegas that you think can really take on Donald Trump at this point? At least the fandom, if you will, of Donald Trump.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but they haven't even taken on each other yet. You know, they're still sorting that out. So no, I don't see that yet.
You don't see that. Do you see Bernie Sanders? They say he's the front runner.
Right.
You see him as the front runner?
Well, he is the front runner. You know,
well, do you see him as the front runner?
A certain amount of disbelief that he's there. You know, considering his policies. But you know, I can't. But you were talking earlier about the desire people have for change. You were talking generational change. This would be going the other direction. But people are not satisfied with where things are, and they're willing to look at. And this is what the progressives in the Democratic Party are. You know, they're doubling down and taking things further than anyone gone before. But you know, we'll see how the voters respond to it. I think Bloomberg, you know, this was a first date for a lot of people with him, and he made a really bad impression for a first date.
Yeah, because everybody remembers the first date.
Everybody remembers the first date.
Bill, I want to bring this up. You like polls, I heard. The USC Price poll shows Senator Bernie Sanders here in California. We're talking about like preview of the primary poll here. Sanders is California's choice at 30% according to this poll. Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren hovering around 20%, Pete Buttigieg, and Mike Bloomberg around 10%. Are you believing it?
Yeah, I think it's fairly consistent with what we've seen around the nation. What I would point out is I doubt that Senator Sanders has the capacity to grow much beyond his base as it is now. And I don't expect him to be the Democratic nominee.
You don't expect him to be the...
No, I don't, because as this field narrows down, then it's going to be the remaining against Bernie. And I just don't see that he has the capacity to grow his base. In fact, I think that people that examine his record and make logical arguments will actually chip away at some of his base. So to me, this is his glory now. And I also pray that he is not the Democratic nominee.
You're saying he's peaking. You're saying he's peaking at this point.
No, he's stable.
I would say that. Yeah, stable.
You said the word. That base has been there all along, and he's never been able to add
so
to it.
You call it a base, I call it a cult.
Okay.
But listen, I mean,
Amanda, I mean, because I mean, this is something you're going to be at the DNC. You were there last night. I mean, is the Democratic Party willing to finally say, because they weren't ready to say that in 2016 for Bernie Sanders, he created that following. Do you think, as Bill's saying, has he not really added to it?
Listen, we're a long way off to the convention. What I will say about Bernie and the supporters and his organization is he's been running now for 4 years. And just the ability to have built that over time and have the team come back together again really does matter when you're in this race and you're being strategic about your wins, because there is so many people across running, right? And I just don't see people jumping out of this race to tighten the field anytime soon. And in that case,
do you think this is going to go on and on for how long? I mean,
I do. I think
Tom
this is gonna
Steyer's
go
not
for
going
a
to drop
while.
out anytime soon because he's got a lot of money,
Doesn't
right?
have to.
And then Amy Klobuchar, she's not really trending in California at all.
But time is quick, right? It's
Okay.
9 days. And
Yeah.
so how do you figure out when to get out? And do you have enough to stay there? It's not like we're talking about weeks now. And we're getting into where you're going to have Super Tuesday. A week after that, you have a handful of states. A week after that, you have a handful of states. And so as it moves through, you know, I think what's happening is you're seeing people really stay in this race. And in that world, Sanders has really you can imagine the delegates that he has. He doesn't need to grow it in order to have enough as we move through this. So I think we're going to be in this for a while.
I defer to your expertise and experience. I would disagree. He hasn't been running for 4. He's been running for at least 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Let me get into this because it was interesting, and I brought it up with Tim O'Brien, and you're a former national political aide to Hillary Clinton. There was a Drudge report, and we know how some of those reports can always turn out. And he didn't rule it out. Tim O'Brien didn't rule it out, although Hillary has said, I'm ruling it out. How much is Hillary Clinton going to be a part of the convention? How much of her influence is going to enter this race?
Listen, she is somebody that is incredibly qualified, that people follow, that people listen. She has paved a way for women all across this country to run and to inspire them to run. So to the extent that she has a platform, she will have it. But is she going to be the VP? Is she going to run for president? No. I always laugh whenever it comes up because I can only imagine what she is thinking when all of a sudden a new rumor has stirred. I mean, she spent her life dealing with that.
Yeah. Paula, I'll come to you. What we haven't seen is Barack Obama get out there yet. And Joe Biden isn't doing so well in the polls. Does Barack Obama need to come to the rescue of Joe Biden?
Well, you were talking about Hillary, and I was thinking of Obama. The ads have been Bloomberg's ads with him. And I hadn't realized, I heard an interview with Axelrod the other day, and he was saying Obama had not endorsed Bloomberg. The ads I thought he had. But he hasn't.
Power of an ad, huh?
Yeah, and
it's starting to brainwash you, Paul. Are you feeling okay?
They got me.
Got you, huh?
And but the fact that he hasn't stepped up for his former vice president has people thinking. And so, but I think President Obama will be more active in this campaign than Hillary will be.
I want to go to Bill before we get back to, because I know Amanda has a lot of thoughts on that, but I want to go to Bill first.
Oh, Joe Biden would benefit greatly if President Obama did come out and supported his campaign. I think that would be a strong message to...
Does he need it to stay in this? Because it looks like, at this point, what it looks like, and I'm no genius, as we all know, nobody comment about that, that if Bernie Sanders is kind of the front runner and he keeps trending up and up, that Joe can't catch up.
So, again, gosh, I hate going back to polling, but you have to go back to
I told you
how
likes
people
polls.
answer polls, and they're not consistent.
Right.
So you have people that are saying, Joe Biden is the guy to represent our party, he's the best chance at beating Trump, and then they turn around and vote for someone else. I think that Joe Biden, there's been questions about his energy and his message, and he hasn't been sharp. But in Las Vegas, he was much sharper, had a lot more energy. And we know there's some states coming up where he's going to do very well.
But there was a part, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I was watching bits and pieces, but it seemed like there was a big lapse when we heard him at one point, and then a big lapse when we heard him again.
Yeah, you know, I think actually the debate was so interesting that it created these little sort of fights everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was actually difficult to have people jump in, as everybody saw, if you watch the debate all the way forward. But there's no way President Obama should get in this primary. Why? We're going to need a lot of people to bring the party together. And so it does make sense that he stays away until it's really time to unify.
All right. I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us on this bonus ball, as I always like to call it. Again, can't wait to see how it all pans out. Thank you for joining us at Sunday Morning Matters Extra on yourcentralvalley.com.